What's up, y'all? We back. It's Invest in Your Culture. It's your boy Raylo, man. And we got another video. Now, I just came across this because I love Vice. You know what I'm saying? I love the channel Vice. You know what I'm saying? The company Vice. I'm sorry, because they everywhere. But one of the reasons I love them is because anytime you have a doubt about something, you know what I'm saying? If they like, hey, this is going on in this country, they gonna pop up in that country and see what's cracking. So, you know what I'm saying? We got the war going on with Iran at this moment. So, Vice went over there to see what was cracking. So, let's see what's going on in Iran. And let's see what Vice got to say about it.
The United States will blockade the Strait of Hormuz, stepping up pressure on Iran.
Trump said it's highly unlikely that he would extend the truce with Iran before it expires on Wednesday evening.
Iran is the biggest story in the world. We've been there many times.
We're here in Tehran, and this is the Independence Day parade.
See?
This is Alex Chitty, my old producer.
Well, see, that's why I be saying, bro, I hate these countries do not like us. But man, let's keep saying what they said. Death to America. That's wild.
We've been all over the world, but a lot in Iran.
Is this the largest mosque in Tehran?
Yes.
Yeah. It's very busy.
Thousands, tens of thousands.
What's happening in Iran right
Not
now?
in the
In less
mosque.
than 3 hours, the U.S. will begin enforcing a naval blockade on the Strait of Hormuz after peace talks with Iran fell through after 21 hours over the weekend.
We have the Grand Ayatollah gone.
Gone.
Bombers bombing Tehran and oil and military installations.
Drones going both ways.
Drones, asymmetrical warfare, first seen in the Ukraine, now seen in Iran to great effect. Propaganda on both sides as well.
They broke their word, they broke their promise.
And so we're going to do Iran because it's in the news and we've been a lot together. This is Alex Chitty and this is Inside Vice. And here we go. You ready? Iran. Inside Iran. Tango. This show is about going back to our greatest hits or things that we like or our old Vice hits, Vice News hits, and going back to the people that made them and talking about them. We just did North Korea with Jake, which was funny because Kim Jong-un showed up and they got wasted. You've done a lot.
We're in the thick of it now. These kids are making Molotov cocktails.
We're here in Kim Il-sung Square. You can hear a pin drop. Everyone's waiting for the marshal to arrive.
Every part of a private life today is found on someone's phone. We used to say a man's home is his castle. Today, a man's phone is his castle.
You did a lot of stuff with me, with Sarush. So this is that show. It's called Inside Vice. I wanted to call it Don't Look Back in Anger, but then Tim, who's editing this, said I can't do that because people would look back in anger.
Yeah, we can't look back in anger. But like I said, man, they be everywhere. Like, it don't matter. If there's some propaganda going on, boop, hey, let's see what the propaganda about. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like Vice. Like, it's a reason why they was a multi-billion-dollar company at one point in time. Well, they probably still a multi-billion-dollar company, but hey, let's see what the truth is.
It was like, don't look back in anger, I heard you say, and then we could just be like, we were getting shot at here in Vietnam. Anyway, we've been all around the world together, and we were going to start doing this in Venezuela, but someone was too tired.
I can't imagine who that might have been.
But if we can do it tied to the news cycle, we do.
We're supposed to be in the midst of a ceasefire between Iran, Israel, and the United States, but we are heading now toward yet another escalation.
48 hours before the talks commenced, there was talk of wiping out civilizations.
The big one that I just watched was when we went to the...
Yo, that's wild. That's why I'm saying I gotta hear it from the other side. Like, our president was talking about wiping out their whole civilization. Come on, bro. Like, we gotta hear it from somebody else's perspective.
Reactors, and we got invited there. And the Republican guards kept throwing us out of our hotel room at night because they didn't enjoy us as human beings. And we went to the reactors with the Ayatollah, Grand Ayatollah, looking at us as we went in. It was terrifying. I have radiophobia.
This is the research reactor. The blue is because of the triangle radiation.
So it's radioactive. So we're going to stand away from it. I am anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks about the Iranian nuclear program as this very big and scary and serious thing, which of course it is. But when we were touring that research reactor, which by the way was donated by America, I believe.
Yeah, atoms for peace. I mean, you can't make it up. You studied at MIT, and I believe this reactor came from America.
Yes.
I think a lot of Americans would be surprised about that.
Like, do your history. They used to be our allies. We've caused this mess. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to be overly powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like, just trying to do too much in their region. You know what I'm saying? Let them people have their own, you know what I'm saying, land. But the only thing is, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. America would not be what it was if we didn't exploit some of these countries. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to say that's right. I'm not going to say it's wrong. But, well, yeah, it's wrong. But at the end of the day, that's just how America became what it is. It's a new day and age. It's a new playing field. And then at the end of the day, you can't be mad that, you know, you want them to give up their nuclear program, where it's not just for weapons. They probably using nuclear power to power a whole bunch of stuff that's going on in their country, and you trying to tell them, no, you can't have this nuclear program. Get up out of here.
So this reactor here was the birthplace of the Iranian nuclear program.
This is only one of 10 sites we have. This is the eldest. The fuel initially was about more than 90% supplied by the American.
We sort of got a sense of which parts of the Iranian nuclear program are kind of jerry-rigged, because when you go in, it's like a clean room, and you can't bring any dust in, and you have to wear little booties on your feet, and you have to wear a hairnet. But they were out of hairnets. So the sinister Iranian nuclear scientist was showing us around, very solemnly took a booty and put it on his head. So he was showing us around with a little booty on his head.
Yes, I remember it being very janky, and they're like, here, you want to see our reactor? Here it is. And it's like, oh, we gave it to you in like 1958 or something. They kept it sort of pristine, except they had a lot of pictures.
Iran, if he wants to go toward weapon, we don't have difficulties, because once you can fabricate fuel, you can make it.
It was very freaky. It was a very freaky reactor, a very freaky shoot. And I mean, I love Tehran, as we said, because everybody there has either relatives here in LA or in London.
They do.
And they have satellites, so they know there
is a very big population of Iranians in LA. I see one every Wednesday, my man Mr. Amir, and I see him on Thursdays. Shout out to my man Mr. Amir. His whole family live in Iran. Like, that's why this one kind of hit close to home, because it's like, man, I don't look up and like my partner come like, Trump destroyed my whole family. Nah, man, I ain't trying to hear that.
it's sort of cosmopolitan in a weird way. And a lot of the Arab countries go there because of plastic surgery. And they have parties and events and stuff. But like, the protesting is nonstop.
The emotions are really ramping up here now. All of Trump's recent rhetoric has really increased the anti-American sentiment in Iran right now.
The mosque. Protests and burning an effigy and down with the USA, which is on every building and stuff. It's sort of become just commonplace. Oh, death to Israel, death to the Jews. Let's eat kind of thing.
Burning the flags, stomping on the American flag, effigies, just anti-American sentiment at a fever-pitch intensity. Why are you here today?
There was a lot of protesting against America, but they were saying we like Americans, we don't like the regime, which is what we say about Iranians.
Government of America, they are all claiming Iran's people are terrorists, but you're not terrorists, we're friendly.
You are enemy of government of America.
Right.
We have no problem with people of America. We like them.
I always have a weird time in Iran, and you're like, yeah, it's one of my favorite places to go. Why?
It's one of my favorite places because, as you say, it's so cosmopolitan. there's a huge, as you touched on, there's a huge difference between the views of what, between the regime's official line that was on the street, death to America, death to Israel, and what the average, regular, certainly Tehrani thinks, which is typically ambivalent or even pro-America, even some even pro-Israel, which is amazing. And just the discord between those two things creates a very interesting world, a sort of a secretive underground world. As you said, like, we've been to parties there, we've been to dinner parties and places where people are drinking wine, which gets delivered as if it's by a drug dealer, and that feels very urbane and also kind of clandestine and exciting.
See, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it be so hard hearing people chant "Death to America," right? You just think about yourself, like, dang, like, why me? But it's the same thing. We don't, like, us as regular people don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there may be like some type of prejudice or, you know, whatever. But I don't care about what's going on in Iran. Let them people do what they gotta do. It's always the regimes. The regimes make it bad for the regular people because they've had casualties. They've had casualties because they don't even like their regime. Even over here, a lot of people, we do not like our regime. It is what it is. I think our government is too big and does too much. Like, how they handling this?
It's not exciting if you live there and you have to order wine from a guy who comes and delivers it.
Yeah, people talk to me about that and they're like, well, why isn't a regime change? Two things. Whenever you're in Iran, they're like, look, we're going to change the regime. Just don't bomb us or don't attack us because then we'll unite. A. B. They are protesting and there is sort of a nudge trying to be given there because I would say it's in Tehran anyway, it's probably about 80-20 against. But then you have the Revolutionary Guards, and because there's been so many sanctions for so long, they're kind of, you know, the mafia and you know, they control everything and the money and the currency and all that stuff. And they have all the guns. So they're not going, because if there's a regime change, they're all in trouble. So they're not going anywhere. And so therefore, you have unarmed people have to fight heavily armed people. It's just not going to work.
Never.
And now the government is more entrenched, more radicalized, and there's not, you know, the protests that have happened over the last, since 2009, intermittently from 2009 till January this year. When this war ends, when do they come back? I don't know, but I know that the security state, the government, the IRGC, which is sort of parallel and a bit off, now they're ready. They've broken into cells. I think they call it like the mosaic system. They're autonomous. Like, they're a lot more dangerous now.
And what are some of your favorite things about Iran shooting there or getting stories, and what are some of your least favorite?
One of my favorites is when we bumped into the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, General Salami, and I kind of did my producer thing. I ran into the crowd and I kind of went to the front. I grabbed our fixer and I said, ask him for an interview. We want to do just a quick stand-up interview in the street, as you know we do. Our fixer turned to him and said, Vice News, USA, Vice News, he's from the USA. And the head of the IRGC, who, by the way, was assassinated by Mossad last year.
Israel strikes on targets inside Iran and also on Iranians' military leaderships, the most important of which is Hossein Salami, who is the head of the elite wing of Iran's military.
Looked at me, then turned to our fixer and said in Persian, what I'm sure is some kind of Persian saying.
He said the dog is the brother of the fox. Then walked away. Seriously?
That's some real shit right there.
The Straits of Hormuz is in the news every day.
Oh yeah, let's find out about the Strait. That's the reason why we got $6 gas over here. $6 a gallon. That's crazy.
You guys went swimming and driving around and talking about it and whatever, which we'll show some footage of.
So Iran is, with the current sanctions, Iran is banned from trading oil with anyone. But from the amount of tankers you see, wherever you see red lines on the tankers, that means that they are empty and that oil has been dropped off. So there's a lot of oil trading hands, and the Revolutionary Guard and that kind of naval warship right there is going around and patrolling. So Iran has made it very clear that regardless of sanctions, they will not stop selling oil to whoever wants to buy oil from them.
It was weird and fun to swim in the Strait of Hormuz. We could see IRGC vessels. We could see oil transiting the Strait of Hormuz, contrary to sanctions. That was super interesting. We were like, this is so busy, it's so congested.
It's an international incident waiting to happen.
It's just obvious. And then you're so close to another whole other universe. Like, once you're on the other side of the Persian Gulf, it's just another world.
It's malls and Four Seasons and
Shake Shack. It's right fucking there. And of course, it's unbelievably vulnerable. It's like the DMZ in Korea. Like, it's like, which no one thinks, but except you're driving a fifth of the world's commerce through it, which, by the way, is more than a fifth, because that's like cutting off your leg and saying, what's a fifth of your body? The system is broken because that weird little patch of ocean is blocked.
So, on one of the trips we went there, it's the anniversary of the revolution. They like to have you come. There's parades and things, and they parade out like missiles and ballistic missiles. Is actually what we're seeing today.
They're trotting out new missile systems. There's drone systems over there. We're going to see what's happening here.
And one of the things they paraded around were all the drones, their drone technology, their drone capabilities, which are in the news every day and has changed sort of warfare. And we got to see it. I think also, like, yes, Straits of Hormuz, like when you go there, you're like, oh, this is all of the world's oil going through one tiny thing. Do you think that what we're seeing today in the news every day was on parade for years before?
That's what I think you learn a lot of the time with extremists is when they say what they're going to do, believe them, because they often just do it. And they told us this was going to happen. It was obvious this was going to happen. I'm sure Trump was told that it was going to happen. I'm sure he calculated it, that he would be able to proceed anyway. But yeah, it was unbelievably vulnerable.
Yeah, we were there shooting, and there's just drones. And they're like, here's our drones. We can send thousands and thousands and thousands of these at you guys.
Exactly the same point. Yeah, they're like, here are super cheap drones that we made. By the way, that's the amazing thing about Iran, a bit like North Korea, a bit like Cuba, Venezuela, Syria, is how sanctions force ingenuity on people. So like in Iran, half the cost...
That's what I'm talking about. We should have learned that in Vietnam. Those people was poor and they was putting belt to ass over there during the Vietnam War. You know what I'm saying? We didn't win the Vietnam War. You know what I'm saying? Because some people, it don't matter when they ain't got no money. It don't matter. They gonna find a way. There's a will, there's a way. And they done made some cheap drones and they throwing them at you. Thousands of them. And it's only going to get worse. The drone is the new arrow. Arrows changed warfare forever. Back in the medieval times. Drones have changed it. They can throw these things at us all day if they wanted to. It'll look like a sea of flies if they wanted to just throw a whole bunch of drones at us. And guess what? One day they're going to figure out how to throw them all the way across the ocean.
You see driving around, they're Peugeots supposedly, but they're made in Iran. They make their own cars, and they make drones that cost $3,000. Do you remember when Netanyahu showed us Rashid?
That's the Iranian drone was shot down. It's got a wing here, fixed wing here.
So this was an Iranian drone sent over Golan Heights. You shot it down. They then sent missiles and artillery to attack you on Golan Heights, and then you... So this was the start of everything.
That was it. And you see it. The center was blown out by our interception. But these are the parts that come from the center. And I think it's the first time that we're showing this.
Yeah, it's the first time.
But that was the first time that one had ever been shown on camera. That was in the...
It was the Israeli Defense Force had shot down Shahed drones that were trying to go into Israel and bomb in there. And we went and were the first ones to see them.
And now the U.S. Army have reverse engineered that same drone.
The Lucas drone, low-cost unmanned combat attack system.
And yeah, that's the first time the US military has reverse engineered an enemy's technology since I think the 1950s when they reverse engineered some bridge.
Okay, so
that's one thing about America. We're gonna find a way to fight back. And they just showed Netanyahu. Man, look, I understand. There's a lot of people who don't like that man. But You send a drone at me, I'm gonna send my whole army after you. That's you know what I'm saying? I can't fault that man. You feel me? Like, play with me if you want. That's exactly what he saw. He saw the drone. They shot the drone down there. It was like, oh, they got drones now, huh? You guys got to realize, like, this is a guy where he's been dealing with Muslims his whole entire life. You know what I'm saying? They done came with rocket attacks. They figured out how to stop that. Now they dealing with drones. It ain't going to stop. If you think the war is going to stop between Israel and everybody else in the Middle East, you tripping. Yeah. Threw drones at them. Man, I just want to thank you so much for watching this. I got the full video if you want to check this whole thing out on my website, investinyourculture.com. You know what I'm saying? Go check out some of my merch. You know what I'm saying? Support me if you like this video. You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribe, and I'm going to hit you with some more. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Ray Lowe, man. I'll be back.